The Phoenix Suns just went out with a bang. And by bang, I mean the type of bang that hurts everyone's ears. The Suns were just swept in 4 games by the Minnesota Timberwolves in a series that showcased the up-and-coming Timberwolves team and the failure of the Suns' Big Three. And now, since the Suns were bounced in the first round, this offseason entails a future of uncertainty. But before we talk about the Suns' playoff failure, we need some context leading up to this point and see the decisions led to this moment. The Phoenix Suns were probably one of the worst teams in the 2010s. Their best record during this span was finishing 9th in the 2013-14 season and missing the playoffs despite winning 48 games. That was the only high point during the 2010s for the Suns. The rest of that decade is highlighted by bad drafting, poor roster moves, poor decision making, and fired coaches after fired coaches. It was not pleasant, but during the bubble in 2020 is when we started to see the first instance of what the Suns could be.
Booker, this is for the win. Got it! Wow!
The Suns went 6-0 in the bubble, but they still missed the playoffs. But the Suns were looking promising, which led to them trading for Chris Paul in the offseason. And thanks to said Chris Paul trade, the Suns became instantly better. The Suns finished the 2020-21 season with a 51-21 record and entered the playoffs as a 2 seed in the West. Side note, do you guys remember who the 1 seed was that year? It was the Utah Jazz. Yup. You may have forgot about that, didn't you? Yeah. Post-COVID sports were weird. In the first round, the Suns beat the defending champion Lakers in 6 games, and they swept MVP Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets in the second round, and they beat the Clippers in the Western Conference Finals in 6 games. Despite being up 2-0 in the NBA Finals against the Bucks, the Suns would lose 4 straight and lose in the NBA Finals. The next year, the Suns had the best record in the NBA and the best record in franchise history with a record of 64-18. In the first round, the Suns beat the Pelicans in 6 games and advanced to play the Dallas Mavericks in the second round. The Suns had a chance to eliminate the Mavs in Game 6, but lost 113-86, which forced a Game 7. And we all know what happened there. Luka and the Mavs were doing whatever they wanted to the Suns. The game was over by halftime. The Suns were getting their ass beat so bad, the Suns posted an apology to the fans. You know it's bad when the team is apologizing to the fan base for the team's performance. It is never a good look. Hey, but look at the bright side. That Game 7 gave us the Chris Paul tree cuts down the lead meme, so it wasn't all that bad. The next season, the Suns regressed mightily. The team was struggling, and Monty Williams and DeAndre Ayton were not getting along, so the Suns decided to go all in and trade for Kevin Durant, sending away Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, 4 first-round picks, and a 2028 pick swap, a trade that most people agree was a good trade for the Suns. And in the 8 games KD played for the Suns, all of them were wins. Heading into the playoffs, the Suns looked to be in good shape. In the first round, they beat the Clippers, that was weakened by injuries, and in the second round, they lost to the eventual champion Denver Nuggets in 6 games. They were embarrassed at home again in an elimination game. Outside of KD and Devin Booker, no one else on the Suns team stepped up. And heading into the offseason, the Suns needed to add pieces that would help KD and Devin Booker. They first started by firing Monty Williams and hiring Frank Vogel, and they added a lot of new players to the roster, like Jusuf Nurkic, Eric Gordon, Grayson Allen, just to name a few. And the biggest move they pulled was trading for All-Star Bradley Beal from the Wizards, sending away CP3 and a buttload of picks. On paper, Bradley Beal was a pretty good idea to help take the load off Durant and Booker. I'm gonna be completely honest, I did not see the Suns team winning a title at all, because the trio of Booker, KD, and Bradley Beal doesn't feel right. All 3 of those guys are scorers, and I don't think they really gel together well. Oh yeah, and also, bigger question, who in the hell is playing point guard? It's certainly not going to be Bradley Beal. He is a lot of things, and a point guard is not one of them. The regular season was an up and down season for the Suns. The Big Three didn't play together until December, because half the time one of the Big Three was injured usually. The problem with the Suns team was there was no real semblance of an offense. It was mostly just letting one of the 3 All-Stars go off and get some points. That isn't a good strategy to win games, especially in the fourth quarter, in which the Suns had the worst margin in the fourth quarter. So heading into the playoffs, the Suns were the 6th seed and had to face the number 3 seed Timberwolves, and as I said earlier, the Suns got swept. In the 4 games, the Suns looked lost on offense against one of the best defenses in the league. The Suns were always falling apart in the second half against the Wolves, and the Big Three were outmatched by a well put together Wolves team. So, to recap, the Suns' Big Three kinda was disappointing and the offense was a mess, and outside of KD and Devin Booker, no one else really showed up, and Bradley Beal is not the guy he used to be. So if you are the Phoenix Suns front office, what the hell do? You have no first round pick until 2030, which means you can't really go to the draft and get any help for your team. And now you have to figure out what to do with Bradley Beal because he isn't going anywhere anytime soon. The Suns trading for Bradley Beal set this team back years. They traded for Bradley Beal figuring he was still in his all-star form back in Washington. But if you ask any Wizards fans, they can tell you Beal is not the same player he used to be. And it's going to be hard to trade Beal considering he has a no-trade clause, so that means he gets to veto any team doesn't want to go to. And also, it's going to be pretty hard to get some teams to take on Beal's contract. Bradley Beal kind of reminds me of Gilbert Arenas in his second years with the Wizards. If you remember, Gilbert Arenas was the star for the Wizards, but then he got a ACL injury, and for some reason, the Wizards gave Gilbert Arenas a second contract, which was not a good idea. And Bradley Beal's kind of like that besides the injuries. He's just kind of not been the greatest after that second contract. I mean, it's still early to tell, but hell, we'll see. So in conclusion, the Suns' big three has been a disappointment so far, and the Suns' future looks a little shaky. And this also goes to show that super teams don't really work anymore. Sure, it may have worked with the Warriors, but they were actually well coached and put together and had depth. The last super teams we've seen have not gone well. You know, Kyrie, KD, Harden, and now we got KD, Booker, and Beal. It just doesn't work anymore. So it's going to be pretty interesting what the Suns are going to do, but it surely is going to be hard. And we're going to see if the Suns' big three can actually win a title or even make it past the first round. But I guess we'll all have to wait and see. Okay, so something pretty funny happened as I was getting ready to upload this video. So as I was getting ready to upload this video, Frank Vogel got fired 1 year into his 5-year deal and is being replaced now by Mike Budenholzer. So thanks a lot, Suns, for delaying this video even more. Honestly, I really do feel bad for Frank Vogel because honestly, this situation was not a good one for him if you think about it. Now, Frank Vogel is a defensive-minded head coach, as you all know from his time with the Indiana Pacers in that 2020 Lakers championship team. Frank Vogel is known for defense, and when you give him a trio of KD, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal, 3 not well-known defenders, and also literally no depth on the rest of the team for defense, this system's not going to work. So of course this was not going to work out. I kind of feel like he's the scapegoat for the front office because the front office decided, you know what, yeah, Frank Vogel should help this team out, even though the system and the current team does not mesh together. So it's going to be pretty interesting that what Mike Budenholzer can do, but I think he might help improve this team, hopefully. So yeah, there's that. So good luck, Mike Budenholzer, you're going to need it. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps out right over there. Anyway, guys, I'm OneDubs. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys later.